Hey folks, what is cracking, man? I'm the Credit Savage. Welcome to my channel where I like to talk about credit cards, credit card sign up bonuses, as well as how to use their point systems once you are in the game so that you can maximize on all of those rewards and thus travel for free, either by yourself or with a significant other. So, if I say something that clicks with you, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It'll cost you nothing, helps me out with the algorithm. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it because a buddy of mine asked me to send him the information about what credit card he should get, and it's not that simple. I had to tell him it's not that simple. There's a lot of things you have to take into consideration, and thus I got a really good idea on this video and how to make it. And why I'm making it. And it's basically when to get a travel card. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I just want to get right to it because, like I said, there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. And some people, don't really think about those. And then they apply for a credit card and they're faced with all these options and then they get stuck and end up paying. They decide to I'm just going to go and travel and just pay for it because I don't want to go through all this. And it's not that difficult, but you just have to have a plan. And that's my first point. I'm going to make 4 points, but point number 1 is you have to have a plan. All right? Whenever you're facing that decision, whether to get a travel card or not, you have to understand that you have to have a plan and, ask yourself, when are you traveling? It usually works for you to have, at least 12 months of preparation going into this, all right? It doesn't work if you're going to take a trip in 3 months, 4 months, because the points just won't be available, and then you have to do, the research and look for the flights and availability, hotel availability, all that. It won't happen. It just won't. So you have to basically have at least, a 6-month cushion. I personally like to have a year in advance of a cushion because it puts me in a position where I can do, a lot more research and get more bang for my buck. All right. So, are you traveling alone or not? Okay. Are you traveling alone or not? With family, with friends, and everybody has to be on the same page because some people may not have the same schedule. So you have to know that. You have to be also realistic. Okay. If you're traveling in a year and you want to go to the Maldives, Bora Bora, it won't happen. It just won't. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's people that are already doing that homework right now that have the points, and it's all about availability. Some hotel rooms at the Maldives are going for 2 million points. So it's all I gotta say. It makes no sense to me to pay 2 million points for a hotel. I'd rather, go a year out, 8 months out and get rooms for 95,000 points instead of 2 million because that's just ridiculous. So you have to be realistic and do understand that it is much easier to go to Mexico, Central America, like, Costa Rica or Nicaragua. Go to Asia even, like Vietnam, even Japan. It's way more realistic to go to those places and, get value out of your points than it is to say you're going to go to Bora Bora in a year. It just won't happen. So be realistic. Point number 2, you must know if you want an airline credit card or a hotel credit card or a points credit card, which has the type of currency that you can move, back and forth through different airlines, or a hotel or an airline. So that's all up to you. But you have to understand that you have to have a good idea of what type of credit card you want. You can do both, but in that chance, the off chance that you do want to do both, you have to realize that you're going to have to be able to meet that minimum spend. If you cannot meet the minimum spend on those credit cards, then it's pointless for you to say, I'm just going to get 2 credit cards. Just get the one, get an airline card if you have a specific airline in mind or a specific system. You just have to have a really good idea and be realistic again with yourself, and think of, will you have enough currency? It's pointless for you to say, I'm going to take 5 people on first class, to Japan in a year. I mean, you can do that, but you're going to have to spend a ridiculous amount of money for that. So, on points, I'm saying, okay? So if you are flexible and you're more realistic about it and say, I'd like to take a trip with 2 people, to Vietnam with 100,000 UR points or 100,000 MR or thank you points. That's different. You're having a plan. You have a good idea of how you want to utilize those points, and you kind of have a base on what point system you're gonna be using. So that gives you more options as to what airlines to look in. And are you gonna be using the UR system, MR system, the thank you points, and so that breaks it down even further, and it gives you more options. Okay, so you just have to hit that minimum spend. I cannot stress that enough. Some people sometimes get so excited when they're in the points games and they start spending money, but they don't realize that you have to meet that threshold within a specific time. And if you don't do that, then you don't get the sign-up bonus. So make sure you don't spread yourself thin. Either get a hotel card and know that you're going to hit that minimum spend. Then right after, get another card, which is an airline card, and you hit that minimum spend. But if you can do so at one time and you want to get 2 credit cards and you're under, the 524 rule, or you haven't taken out that many credit cards, and you can have a good idea on whether you're going to get accepted or not, well, then that works for you. And if you have a good plan, by all means, do it. All right. Point number 3 is you must be flexible. You must be flexible because some people have expectations of taking trips during a very specific date, and you got to understand that those flights may not be available. But if you're flexible and you say you want to you're okay getting to that destination 5 days before that date you have in mind, or 5 days after, well, that opens up even more doors for you, and so you'll be able to then to maximize on your rewards even more and get more bang for your buck. Because if you're flexible, then you're not stuck say spending 40,000 United points on a flight that if you were to take it 3 or 4 days earlier would be 25,000 points. So then you're saving yourself points, and you're being flexible. Also, be okay with taking a layover. Planes that have a stopover or a layover somewhere, or flights, I mean, usually are gonna cost less points than direct flights. It's just the way it works. So you should be okay spending 12 hours in an airport. I suggest getting a credit card. If you are okay with annual fees, getting a credit card that gives you lounge access, because it makes it a lot easier to spend 8 to 12 hours at an airport if you're able to be in a lounge and relaxing, getting some free drinks and some free food. It definitely makes a difference, trust me. So, like I said, you're going to have to be flexible, and the same thing will have to happen on your return home. Be flexible on that aspect. So if you have a very tight schedule, then you're just going to have to be okay with spending a little more money. But if you are okay coming back, within, a specific time frame, say, give yourself 5 days when you return, that you're okay coming back in, well, then that just makes it easier for you. And again, you're able to maximize on your rewards, on your points, and you get less of a headache because you don't have to be constrained by that specific date. Number 4. Okay, my point number 4 is you're going to have to do the research. There's just no a way around it, and you have to be okay with that. A lot of people think that when you take trips somewhere, let's say the Maldives, for example, right? It's great to get there, and you have an amazing time once you're there. And you're using it, you're using points to stay there for free. You flew there for free, but it takes a long time to prep that. Sometimes there's just no availability. So some people spend months, even a year, prepping for that one specific trip that they're planning to take. They have 1 million points with Hilton. They have 500,000 points with American Airlines or United, and sometimes they just can't spend them because they have a very specific trip in mind, and that's okay. If you have the currency, that's totally okay. But like I said, you're going to have to do the research, and you're going to have to spend a lot of time in the computer looking for award availability, especially if you're not traveling for yourself and you're traveling with more than 3 people. Well, then you're really going to have to do a lot of research, because some award flights won't open, or some award stays won't open until 3 or 4 weeks before those places get booked. So for example, would be that right now, let's say today, there's availability that opens for, the Maldives, but it's for 3 weeks from now. Well, then that's why I say you have to be flexible, so that, you're like, well, some rooms just opened up for 4 or 5 days at the Maldives, for 4 people, and so I'm gonna jump on that. I have 3 or 4 weeks, that I'm gonna take off of work, and so let's do it. And so there it is. You're flexible. Something just opened in the Maldives from 3 or 4 weeks from now because there was some cancellations, and you're gonna take off in the next week or two. So you see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by being flexible, and you're gonna have to do the work. If you are not going to spend hours on the computer, just clicking through different award availabilities and different, with hotels and with airlines, then I'm sorry to say this is not for you. The points game may not be for you, and you have to be okay maybe just spending that money, which it's totally okay if you have it, and you're okay just saying, hey, F it, I'm just gonna fly and pay for it on my dime and get there whenever I want. Totally okay. But then there's people like myself who can get a $20,000 trip or a $15,000 trip and pay $1,000 for it. It's not that I can't spend that money. I totally can. But why would I if I don't have to? And that's the name of the game. That's why I made this channel, because that way I can reach more people and kind of give you a really good idea or a better idea on how to go about navigating this traveling systems network and the game, the points game itself. So thank you for watching. I'm the Credit Savage. That's what I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'll be more than glad, to respond to them whenever I have time. And I hope you guys have a good day. Until then, you guys take care, and do keep in mind that cash is king, yes, but credit is power, baby.